Hello, everybody, and welcome. My name is Julie Mann, and I show men and women how they can live healthy, happy, sustainable lives. And I'm really excited because today I'm joined by Orease Bowers. Hi, Orease.
Hey, Julie, how are you?
I'm good. It's so nice to see you. So, for those of you that don't know Orease yet, he basically works as a professional actor. And I know you do other stuff as well, don't you, Orease? And we'll get on to that. But
Yes. Okay.
I think it'd be a great place to start to find out a little bit about your upbringing. So, what was life
Okay.
like as a kid?
Okay. I grew up in New York, Brooklyn, New York. Uh, Inner city, I guess you can say. Uh, and did like everyone else, went to school, did my thing, and I always had a love for acting, but really didn't know how I would get there. So I didn't really do it as a kid, but I always had this love for it. I used to watch the old classic movies, the black and white, all those kind of Humphrey Bogart, all those kind James Cagney type of movies. And I was always drawn in by, their dialogue, and because there wasn't any action packed kind of things and special effects back then. So you were basically drawn in by like the eyes or their gestures or their speaking. So, and then sometimes camera angles. So I kind of put that on the back burner. But I was very, I guess, prolific, I guess, in sports. I did sports and things like that. And had children. Started fairly early, right after high school. I had my first child was born, and then just kept going. I went to college a little later, not right away. Took a few years off, and so I went to college, and I was going to be a elementary school English teacher because I love English, I love writing, and I wanted to do it, And I'm great with children, so I was like, I can do what I love and teach them grammar and how to write and things like that, and then kind of play and kind of come down to their level too and have a good time at the same time. Um, and that didn't go through all the way. I stopped after the third year to get a job with the post office. And I was there for 25 years. And then that's basically it. I was married before, and then now I'm remarried with more children, like a Brady Bunch, type of thing. So my wife had two of her own. I had three sons, uh, and I have a bunch of grandchildren. I don't feel like a grandparent, a grandfather, but I am. And I have six newly born. There's a newborn boy, and then I have one more granddaughter on the way. So I'm excited, enjoying life, and that's basically my life in a nutshell from then to now.
Amazing. So, I know that you've actually been a professional actor for about 6 years, haven't you? So,
Right. Yeah.
tell us about the kind of work that you've done, Orease.
Uh, I've done a couple of short films at first, um, comedies, because I'm a silly guy. Nobody would really know it unless you got to know me, but I'm very silly. So I like that kind of slapstick comedy, things like that. But I've done those. I've done uh, dramas. I'm big on dramas, and I've been on NBC's The Blacklist, starring James Spader. I've been on This Is Us, starring Sterling K. Brown and Mandy Moore. I've been on Orange is the New Black on Netflix. Let me see what else. There's more. They just escape me right now, but mostly those kind of roles, and I get a lot of kind of authoritative kind of roles. SWAT commander or federal marshal, things like that. But I want to broaden out a little bit and don't want to be stuck in one thing because of the way I look. So I want to show what I can do. As far as the other, I guess you can say not genres, but I guess the other side, the different, you know, diverse types of acting and roles, things like that. So, and I want to work in England as well, very much so. because
Fantastic.
I'm definitely an Anglophile where I'm more fascinated with, you know, being in England. I love visiting England very much so. So I'm a big traveler, and that's my favorite place to be.
Fantastic. Well, I'm going to talk to you a little bit more about that later on. But
Okay.
I actually love Silly as well. I think Silly's so good, so much fun. So you talked about when you were younger, you had a desire for acting, and you made it happen kind of 6 years ago. But what was the point where you thought, I am going to do this, I am going to earn some money at this?
Uh, well, I had kind of like forgotten about it after a while, you know, just living my life and enjoying my family and my work at the post office. And then I had a woman at work um, come to me, and she would do it daily uh, and say, you know, you belong on television. And I go, oh, you know, thank you. I thought she was just being sweet and nice. And she did it so much where I got to the point where I was like, okay, maybe this is a sign she's telling me something. So I talked to my wife about it because my daughter uh, was a child actress. So she still had an agent manager. So I felt like this is kind of a sign from, you know, the universe, maybe, you know. So I told my wife about it. I said, I want to pursue this, you know, and then she didn't really jump into it right away. She didn't, you know, really look into it. And then I pressed her a little bit more. And I was like, honey, I really want to do this. I want to get some headshots and start building my resume and things like that. So she talked to the agent, my daughter's agent, about it. And, you know, they didn't really take a person, you know, my age at the time. You know, I was in my early 40s. And, you know, but she was willing to give me a chance because of her relationship with my wife. So they said, have them, you know, get a monologue ready and come in and have an audition to see if we'll pick them up. So I did that. You know, first I got all my headshots, got everything together, got some wonderful headshots, and I was very pleased. And I went in there and I did a monologue from Breaking Bad, starring you know, Bryan Cranston, and uh, they loved it. They loved it, and then they had me do a cold read for a commercial, which was really cool for Kingsford Charcoal, and they liked that as well. So they said they told my wife afterwards. They didn't tell me right away. It's just like he's a natural, but we want him to take classes just for technique and things like that. So, but we want to, you know, take him on as a client. So that's how it all started. And then they started sending me out, and I did a few ID shows and you know, those reenactment shows and things like that. And then I started getting called, and I did classes just constantly and learning and uh, picking people's brains, you know, actors and coaches and things like that, and trying to find my way. And then all of a sudden, it just started flowing, just started coming and coming, and I found myself booking a lot, you know, and you know, so I'm really, really grateful for that. It was really
Thank
nice.
goodness for that woman, Oris, that gave you
Yes,
that nudge, that kept saying, you know, you really, yeah, you got a face. Fantastic. So
yes,
obviously you absolutely love it and
I
you're
did.
excited about it. But
Yes.
what would you say is your favorite aspect of working as an actor?
Um, just creating, just challenging myself and getting into a new character, you know, portraying someone who I am actually not, but I may know a person in my past or in my present that I've had this experience with, or is that kind of person that I am asked to portray. So I love the challenge of a new character and being able to pull it off, even if I don't book the role, to look back and go, wow, I did an excellent job, you know? So I think that's the most rewarding and biggest thing about that, just having a diverse range of characters that I can play.
And that's a really great point because we have to be enjoying the journey, don't we, Oris?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. I love every bit of it, every bit.
Amazing. Well, apart from having a voice to die for, let's face
Uh,
it, what would you say? This might be a difficult question, but what would you say are your strengths as an actor?
my emotions. I'm a very emotional person, so I'm able to get into the character you know, in depth, not just surface and just, kind of recite my lines because I memorized them, but I try to put myself in the character's shoes. And me being emotional and having a life experience, I'm able to draw from how I feel about certain situations. And almost every script I've had or audition, I'm able to relate to it because of my life experience. I've had so many things that I've been through and that I've dealt with that I'm aware of how I felt about that. And I can bring that up and it'll be authentic, So
Brilliant.
that's the way that's how I'm able to do that.
Perfect.
My
You
emotions.
and I both know, because obviously I work as an actor as well, that it doesn't matter how appealing the thought of becoming an actor is. Actually, when you get out into the real world, it's a job. It is a job like any other, and there are going to be periods of unemployment. Now, I know currently you're still working at the post office. In fact, you've just done a shift, and you were just talking to me after your shift, which
Yes.
is amazing. But how do you deal with the no's?
I accept them actually because I already know prior to even getting into it that no is what you hear most of the time. Or when you don't get an answer, that means no. So I accept that, and when I go into it, just trying to do a great job. That's my main goal. I don't go in actually, and it sounds kind of the opposite, but I don't go in to the audition to book a job. Actually, Bryan Cranston said that. He's just like, I don't go in there to book the job. I go in there to do what I'm asked to do. I'm asked to audition. So I go in there and I audition and I do my best. And I realize that I don't fit every role. They may not need a guy with muscles or a bald head, but they may have another project down the line. And they's like, you remember that guy who we had here? He was fantastic. He didn't fit this, but he fits this. So I want to always do well, so I pride myself on being, meticulous, not really meticulous, but being on top of my work, taking pride and quality in it. So I can give a great performance and be remembered for future projects. It's like planting seeds. So when I don't get the yes, I feel like I've planted seeds all over the place. So and I know that they're blossoming. So that's how I look at it.
I love it because, of course, some seeds are going to fall on stony ground, aren't there? And there's nothing we can do about it. But I think what's brilliant about what you've said is that you can absolutely enjoy the moment. You can enjoy the process. And that's so, so important.
Yes.
It isn't about the outcome. Of course, we want the outcome, but not so much that we can't enjoy the bit that leads up to that. So, one of the things I was struck by when I first met you, Orease, was your incredible attitude. You have such a fantastic positive mental attitude.
Yes.
How important would you say it is to have a good attitude in life?
All right. Well, life in general, aside from the acting, I believe it's very important to have because it gets you to the next moment. I mean, if you stay negative or woe is me, why isn't this going well? Then you kind of get more of that. You draw people. When you go to a friend and go, oh, you know what I'm going through, and this and that, and they feed that, and then you get another person, and it's just a whole bunch of negativity piled on top. But if you do the opposite, even in times of despair, when you have these moments, and if you try to look at the bright side, or what am I supposed to learn from this? It helps you move on a little quicker, and it just builds an entire better mental attitude, and then it starts becoming who you actually are, even if when you're doing it, it's not really how you feel, but you're trying to be positive. If you do it enough, it's gonna be ingrained, and it's finally gonna be who you are, and that's who I am. I stay positive regardless of what's going on. If I'm stuck in traffic, if I'm in a long line, I'll go, all right, well, maybe I'm supposed to be here for a reason. And at least I'm here to experience these things. And I learn from these things, and I don't react to situations anymore. I respond and I go, all right, so this is what I need to do. I won't let this get to me. And it's just made my life so much better to deal with anything, to deal with my acting career. I don't get bummed out by not getting a role, and I know the things that I desire are coming, and I keep that attitude again because if I don't, what is that going to do for me? It's just going to put me down. And who wants to walk around with their head down? I know I don't. So I have other things in life that I want to do. So I live. I just enjoy my life. I'm here another day. So being positive is the way to go because it's just you get more of the same.
Oh my goodness, Orease, I couldn't agree more. And I think what you're saying is absolute gold. Who taught you this positive mental attitude? Did you grow up with it? Was there
Uh,
somebody, a role model for you? What was it? Who was it?
no, no, I didn't grow up with it. I had life experiences again that I went through, and I knew I was better than the things that I was going through, that I had to get past it. So as a child, I didn't have many role models, and if I did, they were people who were, like unsavory, not really great characters. So I had to build it within. What do I want? So if I relied on people to give me things or to tell me what I want to hear, then I won't go anywhere because they're not going to give me that. They're not going to give me those things. So I had to look within and say, okay, how do I feel about this? I can't worry about what the next person says about me or because they're not living what I'm living. They don't have the same goals and dreams, and they're not living the exact same life. So I had to go within and say, things are going to get better. I deserve this. I'm a wonderful person. I'm a wonderful person outside, inside, and I have a genuine love for people and just life in general. So that gets me by. That's just like, I'm here another day to experience the sunshine and the rain or whatever it may be, but I'm here. So why not make the best of my day while I'm here? I'm not promised tomorrow. And yesterday's already gone, so why dwell on what happened? So this is how I look at things, and it just got progressively better as the years went on, and now it's just full-fledged, positivity, no matter what, no matter what.
It just becomes who you are,
Yes.
you're being. Yeah, absolutely. I love it. Now, you mentioned that you love England, you love the UK. And I know partly the reason you love it is because of the Beatles, because you're a
Oh,
massive
yes.
fan, aren't you?
Yes.
Now, when did that start?
uh I don't, well, my uncle, I don't know where it came from in me, but I know uh my uncle, who has since passed, I grew up in the same house with him. So, my uncles lived with me, but they were more like my older brothers. And my uncle, he was a big Beatles fan. So when I was growing up, even as an infant, that's all I heard for a while. So I would hear it every day, not knowing that I liked it until I was singing it. So I have this scar on my forehead. And um, my grandmother was chasing me around the house one day. And you know how kids run and they look back and they're not paying attention. So I turned around and I cracked my head open, and I was on the way to the hospital. So as stories was told to me, because I don't remember, I was 2 years old, and they told me on the way to the hospital I was singing Hey Jude all the way to the hospital. So I was just like, wow. So I guess then I've been a fan ever since then, and I just grew up listening to it, and I knew I wanted to always visit it, visit the place where they came from, and then all the movies growing up, all the movies I enjoyed with all the fog and the is it Big Ben? Big Ben is up,
Yeah.
and it just, London Tower and all that stuff. It just fascinated me. And then your accents are just, phenomenal. I love it. So I wanted to experience that. And my first time there, I was just like, I love it. I love it. You guys, the people are great. They're kind and generous and warm. And I'm just like, I love it. So it became my favorite place. And I've visited so many times, and uh, it's just a beautiful place. So I love it.
Thank you. So, this is going to be hard for you to answer. What's your favourite Beatles track?
Oh, that's not hard.
Okay.
Here Comes the Sun.
Oh, that's so your tune, isn't it?
Yes, and it's fitting because of who I am. The sun is always, I'm telling you,
And it looks like the sun's beating down on you right now.
Yeah, I
The way
know.
lighting is.
All right.
It's all staged, not.
Okay.
So clearly you're really big on fitness, and obviously people watching can only see your head and shoulders, but you know, you're a big guy and you love working out. I've got no idea how many times you go to the gym. You
Right.
mentioned your grandchildren, you know, almost 7.
Mhm.
How important to you is family and having that work-life balance, Orease?
Uh, well, I think it's very important because, um, you want to have a foundation. You want to be out there working and running around, and even with the training and all that stuff, you want to have a place that not only you can call home, but it feels like home. Not just where you pay rent or you have you want to have people that you genuinely love coming home to and just can help you, brighten your, they help brighten your day actually. And I think the family is very important. It keeps you grounded, keeps your priorities in order, and it's real important that with my training and of course the training and the eating right, you want to be around to experience life with them as long as possible. So that's what I do, and I try to just balance all of it because I set my intentions for the day, what I want to do, as far as auditions and things like that. If I am busy, I try to just manage the time as best as possible. Uh, Try to find time with just my wife and I. Then maybe the next weekend, I have to get 1 or 2 of the grandchildren. Then the week after, then try to hang out with a family member and say hello and just to gather a little bit. And then all over again doing the same thing. And then if I have a schedule where I have to where I have to actually shoot, then I'll have to take a couple of days from my job to do that and then reconnect with my family after that. So I try my best to just balance it and set a great schedule and manage it well.
Yeah, because that's important, isn't it? With a family that's expanding by the minute, that's
Yes,
quite important.
literally by the minute. Yes.
So if someone was going to write the part for you,
Hmm.
what kind of part would it be? It's just for you, Orease. What do you want it to be?
Oh wow, there's so many, but okay. I guess maybe right now, because I really want to do some superhero stuff, Marvel, DC, or stuff like that. But um, where I'm like the captain or the chief of police in a station, um, just head of the station, doing what I do, and running a nice tight shit, and also having like that family uh, thing in that, in the station as well. Even as policemen, on set, you want to have that sense of family, kind of looking out for each other, not just because you're at the same job, but because, they're all become family because you're with them even more than your family sometimes. So I want to have that same kind of role where I'm uh, the authoritative kind of role, but still it feels like family, kind of like my home, my personal life, so.
I can so see it. As you're describing it, I can just see you doing it. It's almost like it's done. One last question, Orease.
Okay.
When you're no longer on this planet,
Mhm.
how do you want people to remember you?
Oh, well, that's pretty basic. Well, not basic, but just that he was very loving. He gave from his heart. Um, he's a genuine, authentic person. Just love, love, love personified. You know what I mean? Not, uh, and just, like I exude love to whoever I meet. And, no matter who the person was, and that he's just a kind, generous, giving from the heart kind of person. That's basically who I am. That's always who I felt like, actually. Even as a kid, I always felt, because I didn't know anybody who I grew up with like me, meaning that I was an emotional, and I still, like, I cry today with no problem. I cry. I don't feel that it's not masculine. I'll cry at a movie, or if I feel strong about something, and it feels good, I'll cry because it feels good. That's not a sign of weakness to me. So I've always been a person who loved. I'm a loving person. So that's what I want my legacy to be.
Fantastic. And I, can, that just shines through with who you're being. So for anyone who doesn't know much about Orease, please check out the links and find out more about him.
Yes.
So all there is for me to say, Orease, is thank you so much for talking to us.
Thank you for having me, and thank you to everybody out there watching. I really appreciate you guys, and continue to watch me and support. I'll be posting what I can and letting you guys know what's coming on.